Star Music, Star Variety.
Star!
102.5.
Star 102.5, today's best variety. We are live at Fleming's Prime Steakhouse and Wine Bar in West Des Moines with John from Five for Fighting. And it's been such a pleasure having you with us today.
Great to be here.
It's just great to have you in Des Moines. We're hoping that a full-blown tour is going to follow, and I'm not going to stop pushing that point for a while. Someone just mentioned that they like the name Five for Fighting.
Must be a hockey fan. All right, on.
I'm a girl. I don't know much about sports, but I do know the reference. Do you want to explain it for any others who might not?
Well, in the NHL, if you get in a fight, you get 5 minutes in the penalty box, right? Yeah, so that's where the whole name thing came from.
You are a sports fan, obviously.
Hardcore.
Hardcore?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Musician / sports fan, dad. What's your most enjoyable title?
Well, Daddy's at the top for sure.
Is it?
Yeah, Daddy's at the top. And, sports is my escape, you know. I don't go home and listen to records because that's what I do 12 hours a day. But yeah, no, sports is a lot of fun. And with the little kids, you know, my kids are 8 and 10, so we're doing the soccer and the baseball. So it's kind of consuming us. But it's Daddy's the number one title, of course.
Is Daddy the coach?
Daddy has coached some third. Yeah, Daddy's been third base coach, did a little soccer coach. And unfortunately this year I'll be on the road, so I won't get to coach him. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
There is a new album coming out in October. We will talk about that. Of course, we're going to talk about getting you back in Des Moines for a full-blown concert. One of the biggest hits for you was Superman.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was just a timing thing that everyone gravitated towards it with 9/11, but it did become just an amazing hit for you. Do you feel like are you okay with the attachment to 9/11?
Yeah, it's interesting. Actually, Superman was actually well on its way to becoming popular before 9/11. It was actually worldwide. It was already popular and here, but obviously after 9/11, it took on a certain significance. I was actually in London on 9/11, and like everybody else, I was kind of traumatized and shocked. And when I got back to the States, it took me a week to get back. Everyone said, well, you know, a lot of news organizations are using Superman, and a lot of the firefighters are using your song, and of course, it made you feel many different emotions. I had just gotten used to hearing my song on the radio for the first time, and now here's a song that's kind of becoming this national anthem for this traumatic event in our history. So it took me a while to kind of get used to that. And then when I did the concert for New York, it all kind of crystallized for me because I saw The Who go out there and blow the roof off Madison Square Garden and give these relief workers a chance to release. And I'm like, all right, this is why we do it. This is why songs matter, and not necessarily just my song, but there are other songs on there that help people get through that time. So I'm just glad songs like Superman were around for that time, and I'm honored and privileged that it's attached to those firefighters who showed us who we are.
I'm able now, years have gone by, I'm able to step back and not so much disassociate, but in a way listen to the song in a new perspective. Mm-hmm. And it is brilliant, but I think with a lot of the lyrics, you can attach it to whatever you need to attach it to at that time.
Well, that's the nice thing about Superman. As I was telling you earlier, the greatest thing about Superman for me was the only song that would put my 2-year-old to sleep, because she was a nut. And so if that was the only thing I got out of that song, thank God I wrote it. But look, Superman kind of reminds us, it's a simple universal feeling that, hey, at the end of the day, we're just human. We can't be everything for everybody. And that's why I think so many folks relate to that song, whether you're 5 years old, 50 years old. And it's a song I probably couldn't write now. It had to be at that certain time in my life. But, hey, without Superman, I'm not here. There's no 100 years. There's no world. There's no chances. That was kind of my kind of swing, and luckily that folks appreciated it.
Are you okay with whenever someone brings up the name Five for Fighting, that's the first song they think of?
Yeah. Thank God they think of any song. It was, there are so many great songwriters out there that never get a chance to be heard. And having said that, after Superman, it was hard to say, all right, how do you follow this up? And that's why it took a long time. I remember I hadn't written 100 Years yet. We'd finished the record, and I was sitting in my piano at like 5 in the morning. I remember my neighbor would come across the street, and I'd be up all night writing, and he'd get his paper, and he'd wave at me, and I'd be like, I was grouchy. And I finally wrote 100 Years because I wanted a song that would have existed if Superman never did, but I didn't want Superman 2. Right. And that's the problem with a lot of young bands. They have a hit, and they try to just regurgitate the hit, and it's usually not as good. So for me, 100 Years was the key for me. It actually became, okay, it's about this guy. He's a songwriter. He's not just a song. So. Star 102.5